Psalm 42 is our text. We started here yesterday. As the hart, as the deer, as the stag, as the male ram panteth for after the water brooks, so panteth my soul after thee, O God. My soul thirsteth for God, for the living God. When shall I come and appear before God? He's asking the same question we're asking. When can we gather again? When can church be back to normal? He's asking the same exact question. When can I appear? When can I go back to Jerusalem and go back to that temple and lead others in the great company of worship and be a part of all this? I can't wait. Verse 3, my tears have been my meat day and night, while they continually say unto me, where's thy God? When I remember these things, I pour out my soul in me, for I had gone with the multitude. I went with them to the house of God, and with the voice of joy and praise, with a multitude that kept holy day. So let's just pause and think about the phrasings here, okay? We left off yesterday in the middle of verse 2, so he's anticipating now, I can't wait to appear before God. Now, there's a gospel application there. That's a man that's been justified before God and knows it by faith. In other words, he's not afraid of being guilty before God, even though he knows he's sinful. And there it is, there's salvation. He knows that his justification with God is not based on his behavior, because he's describing behavior that some would quantify as sinful. It could become sinful. I don't think it's sinful to be discouraged. I think it can become sinful. So even though he's an imperfect human being, sinful, he is completely confident that he can appear, he can stand before God. That's a profound consideration, friends. And the only way he could do that is by faith, knowing in an Old Testament context that God was sending an atoning Savior. Okay? Did he know that it would be Jesus? No. Did he place his faith in the work that Jesus would do? Yes. Okay? So from an Old Testament view, salvation is the same by faith, accepting God's salvation experience without the New Testament information. All right? We get to look back on the whole narrative. Old Testament saints look forward to God's promise and trusted that he would be good to his word. And that was their faith unto salvation. So here's a man who can't wait to appear before God. There's a there's a practical sense. He just can't wait to be back home in Jerusalem. But there's a spiritual sense of, I know I'm accepted. I know I'm safe. I know I'm justified. I know I'm forgiven with God. I don't fear his judgment. I can't wait to see him. And if you're a believer in Jesus, that's your standing, okay? You can anticipate heaven. You can anticipate standing before God, knowing that you're going to be welcomed into eternity forever. Our granddaughter, Charlie, this past week was having a conversation with Nana, and they were talking about heaven, and Charlie said, I don't want to go to heaven. And Nana said, well, that's okay, Charlie. You know, you don't have to go right now. We're not going to be going right now. And Charlie said, but I don't want to go ever. I don't ever want to go to heaven. I like my bedroom. I like my house. I like my parents and my family. I like my church. She just doesn't want to lose any of that, you know. And Dana had to laugh because so often we get so focused on what we love about this life that it causes us to love less the next life, and to forget by faith that whatever we love about this life, we're going to love even more in heaven. So this man understood wherever he is in life, with God is always better, and I can't wait to be with God. But look at this, and we'll just read it and leave it and talk about it next time. My tears have been my meat day and night. My food, that's the word meat, okay? Literally, I'm eating my tears all day and even into the night. While some group of people, some influence, some scorner, some enemy, they continually say unto me, where is thy God? Okay? Just like they did to Jesus on the cross. Come down if you're the Son of God. Come down and save yourself. We're surrounded in this world by God-hating people. Wicked, evil, diabolical, volitional. It's willful. They hate God. Now, we're not to hate them. We're to love them. We're to pray for them. But it is oppressive to hear them scorn our God, to hear them defy our rights to worship freely. And I thank the Lord that our governor in our state has not been overreaching like many of the governors have. If he does, you can expect me to take a strong stand and to encourage us all to come back to church and to obey God rather than man. Okay, and I think we're nearing the moment where we all need to just come back. But for this moment, we're complying, we're waiting, we're being patient. Why? I don't sense that our governor is willfully infringing on our religious liberty or overreaching. I really sense he's trying to keep the state from having a regression. And I agree with that because I don't want us to have to shut back down as a state, as a church, as a school. I want us to keep going forward, and I'd rather go forward slowly and incrementally than to go too fast and have to pull back. All that to say, this man is going through a really hard time. We'll talk about it more next week on Monday. But tears are a part of our lives, and they're okay. Seasons of tears are okay. So don't be afraid to cry. God knows. He understands our tears. You can cry to him, and he cries with you. He weeps with you. He is touched with all the feelings of your infirmities. So be encouraged today that if you are discouraged, if you're weeping today, my friends, God is with you, and he understands those tears, and they are but for a moment. Weeping may endure for the night, but joy comes in the morning.